Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. K100, for all your gas-powered equipment, make water burn. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Built in 1869, this lighthouse we're standing on was one of the original 6 lighthouses in the entire province of New Brunswick. Now it's sitting here, one of the tallest structures in Fredericton, New Brunswick. The light atop of this lighthouse was donated by the Canadian Coast Guard in 1989, but those numbers pale in comparison to the age of the New Brunswick exhibition, now referred to as the NBX. This year, it's 187 years old. It's the host of the Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships, where we get the best guys in the Maritimes, 15 of them competing for $10,000 in prize money in 9 events. Hi, I'm Bill D with my co-host and Lumberjack sport analyst Rod Cumberland. Great start to the competition last week. This week we're featuring the obstacle pole buck and the underhand chop. Now in the obstacle pole buck, it's a little bit different from what we saw on Campbell River, British Columbia a few weeks ago.
Takes the same speed and agility by the competitors to get up the logs, but they use both sides of the bar here, and they're all using the same tuned Echo chainsaws.
Now in the underhand chop, we got a great field of young competitors, a couple of experienced guys as well, but I know you got some favorites there, some family favorites there. Who do you like in the underhand chop?
Speaking of lighthouses, Marcel Dupuy's been lighting up the boards everywhere he goes in the underhand chop. He's the best underhand cutter in Canada right now, but this summer he's had a hard time beating the Cumberland boys, and it's going to be a dogfight to the end in that event.
Well, we had a great start to the competition last week with all the best competitors here from the Maritimes and a couple of people joining us from northeastern United States. Right now, we got Scott Reed and Mario Bork on the board. Last week, they came dangerously close to taking a DQ in the run, cut, and split. They're happy to be up there on the top 5 in the standings. We are going to get started with the underhand chop. In total, we had 12 competitors. We're going to be showing you the top 4 heats. This first heat, a couple of buddies, Jeff Larkin taking on his buddy Scott Reed.
This is actually the coach and the student in the same heat. So Scott Reed, the coach of Dalhousie Agricultural Campus. Jeff Larkin is a student. Jeff, big, strong guy from Middle Musquodoboit. This should be a good race because Scotty hates this event.
And they're chopping through 12 inches round, a trembling aspen. Great job by Ryan Cameron and his crew for providing all the equipment and the wood for this competition as they're well into the way, getting into the small wood before they make their turns over to the backside.
And again, we always watch in the underhand chop, see who turns first. We see Scott Reed, first guy to make a turn from first side to second side, but they have to do the work in the front, especially on round wood. They've got to make sure they take a 1 and 1 at the bottom and clean that wood out so that it drives off well at the back. But you can see here, looks like Scott Reed's ahead, but he's starting into the small wood, and his block is still not coming off.
Well, this is where we might find out who did their homework on the front side. Both guys are trying to drive things off, and it looks like it's a photo finish between Reed and Larkin, with Scott just edging out Jeff. I counted 12 hits on the front side there. Did you turn too early, or were you right on that plan?
No, that was my plan. I just ran out of gas on the back. It's not my favorite event. Actually, it's my most worst event that I don't care for it at all, but it was good. Good job. I was happy.
I mean, Jeff's a bit of a friend of yours, right? A buddy, and there was a fantastic race. You probably don't know how he's doing over there, but it was almost a dead heat.
Yeah, no, I used to coach Jeff. He is a good buddy, and I'm glad if he beat me, that's great.
I'm Mario Borg from St. Paul, New Brunswick, and I work for Corrections Service Canada.
My name is Matt Galambos. I'm from Whitefield, Maine, and I am an arborist and a webmaster.
Heading into heat number 2, we got big heavy hitter Matt Galambos taking on Mario Bork, time to beat 34.94, set by Scott Reed in the last heat.
Look at the size of the man here on this block. Matt Galambos from Maine. He's a mountain of a man. Actually, he reminds me a lot of Wreck-It Ralph on the movies. Great big blocky man, square through the shoulders, and look how hard he's hitting that block.
Taking on Mario Bork, and when you're that strong, you got to make sure you're accurate because you want to make those powerful strokes hit. He makes his gingerly turn over the backside with a kind of a 3-step maneuver. Mario Bork also on his backside.
This is Matt Galambos' block. You can see he's got nice, beautiful lines here. Mario Bork's a little bit of stair-stepping on the back of his block. Oh, as they come up, it's a photo finish, 31 and change. Hard to tell who won that heat.
That was a come-from-behind victory. Actually, we're not quite sure yet. It was a pretty close race there with Mario. But we see 2 different styles there. We see Mario a little bit quicker pace. Your style is hitting it hard, a little bit slower pace. Tell me about your style.
Well, I'm not very accurate when I go fast, so I've been slowing it down lately, and I have to win by cutting my logs and less hits than everybody else.
Yeah, I mean, we all know it's about speed, strength, and accuracy. So, I mean, if it works for you, you got to use your power when you can, right? And use it efficiently.
Exactly. You got to, suit your style to your own strengths.
Well, we're halfway through the underhand chop, and Matt Galambos' 31.52 is only good enough for second place at this point. In an earlier heat, Vince Maciel clocked a 28.24. One of the great sponsors of the Lumberjack competition here at the NBX is Alpa Equipment, and we had a chance to talk to Jerry Curtis.
Alpa Equipment is a sales and service dealer for Ponzi forestry equipment and Hyundai loaders and excavators. We're involved in the Lumberjacks competition. It works for us. Very proud to be a sponsor. Alpa Equipment is a sales and service dealer, been in business for 38 years, just about 38 years. Sell forestry equipment, Ponzi, made in Finland, distributed here in Canada. Harvesters, processors, skidders, dilemmas, just about everything there that from the time you walk in, from the time you get into the woods, we cut the tree down, we limb it out, set it on the side of the road for the truck to come and pick it up. So the equipment is called harvesting, and we're into it in a big way.
Well, many thanks to Alpa Equipment and all the other great sponsors associated with the Lumberjack competition and the NBX. Right now, we are halfway through the underhand chop. Vince Maciel, who we saw in a much earlier heat, is leading the way with a 28.24 seconds. We have two fantastic heats yet to come, including Ben Cumberland taking on Donald Lambert.
So again, we've got the, I would say the tortoise and the hare, but this is youth versus experience. Don Lambert, again, just in the twilight of his career. Young Ben Cumberland just getting started in this. He's 20 years young, and watch a feverish pace that he goes at in the underhand chop.
Well, that's exactly what the young guys can do. They can go at it fast. Most importantly is they also be accurate and strong. Ben Cumberland really driving that axe. Couple of missed hits, but he's going so fast, he's well ahead of Donald at this point, and Ben Cumberland's on his backside.
And look at that big slab come off of Ben's block. You know, it's a nice wood in the back. As he gets ready to drive things off, he's getting the small wood. He's not hitting very well, but there it is. Ben Cumberland off in 22.8.
And he lowers a tiny beat. It's going to be tough to catch with only one heat to go. So I counted 12 strokes in the front there, but it was about the 8th stroke your axe started to stick a little bit. Is that because it's driving into the wood so much?
Yeah, I wasn't really counting strokes, just trying to make sure I was hitting where I wanted to and getting the wood chop, but yeah, it's just going in so far. My axe loves this wood for some reason.
Well, it's a 12-inch block. You've got 12 strokes on the front side. Now you got one of those high-risk reward maneuvers over to the backside as well. You nailed it, which is good, right? But it's high risk.
Yeah, that's taken me a lot of practice. That's the first time I nailed it this summer. The other times I've lost my balance and almost fallen off, but today worked.
My name is Marcel Dupuis from Memramcook, New Brunswick, and I'm a firefighter for the city of Moncton.
Hi, my name is Nathan Cumberland. I'm from Keswick, New Brunswick, and I'm in my graduating year at Cumberland Homeschool.
Well, older brother Ben sets a time at 22.88 with younger brother Nathan here in the last heat taking on Marcel Dupuis. Is the time going to fall here?
Two big, heavy hitters here, and these guys are the best underhand cutters in Canada right now. They're going head-to-head. Nate Cumberland with a feverish pace. Marcel getting into the small wood, putting some drivers in, getting ready to switch over to the second side.
Both guys on their backside. Nathan Cumberland with a good pace. Marcel trying to catch him right now. It's going to be really close. They're trying to take down 22.80. And Nathan Cumberland drives things off and wins the underhand chop with a 19.3 out. Marcel, good enough for second place. So the previous heats, I was watching some guys go, and most of them were taking 12 hits in the front side. You turned to 10 hits, but took 12 on the backside. Is that part of your strategy?
Lately, I've been chopping 10 in the front. I thought that 12 would get me halfway there, so I just turned. I said it's there, so I didn't have to worry about it.
Actually, I told you that you had 12 on the backside. That 13th one was kind of just to finish things off, right? So you took 13 on the backside. But looks like you got the victory in that. You got to be pretty happy about beating that field of competitors.
Very blessed to compete them. These guys are great. We've had big battles all summer, so it's great to come out on top.
Thanks, Nate.
You're welcome.
Well, it's no surprise to see Marcel Dupuis and Donald Lambert on underhand chop scoreboard, but it's Nate and Ben Cumberland who shine today. Nathan Cumberland taking first place with a 19.38.
Welcome back to the Exhibition Center here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Labor Day weekend for the NBX 187th edition, but this is actually the third year for the Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. We are into the obstacle pole buck. We have 10 competitors here, and we are going to be showing you all 5 heats. This is an event that I know you're very familiar with, Rod Cumberland. This first one, a couple of guys from the United States, Craig Morris taking on Vince Maciel.
And this will be a great race. We know it's a foot race. Actually, it's the steeplechase of lumberjack sports. They've got to run down, up the log, start their saws when they get to the bunks, and then, of course, cut with both sides of the bars to get the event in the books.
And another thing to mention as well, they draw for poles. Sometimes the poles are not exactly even. These poles here, one a little bit more wobbly than the other. Looks like Craig Morris ahead at this point right now. Vince Maciel making his cut. Craig Morris racing down to the bottom.
And they're running these Echo 600 chainsaws. Craig Morris takes a wipeout as he finishes the event in just over 17 seconds. Vince Maciel pulling in just under 20, so a great run by both competitors.
A little bit of a balancing act there at the front, at the top of the log there. Tell me about that.
Well, I believe that one's cantilevered out a little more, so there's a lot more spring to it, which shouldn't bother, but it didn't. It was the digger at the back that hurt. I lost a lot of time there, and it's one of the main reasons why I come up here is for this event. I love it.
Well, actually, the poles were tested yesterday with Rod Cumberland. He did indicate that, yes, absolutely, the one you were on was a little bit more springy.
Yeah, so it's all right. Deal with what we got.
Thanks, Craig.
Thanks.
Well, Rod, you mentioned 17 and change will be tough to beat. That is an excellent time for the obstacle pole. Craig Morris has said it in the very first heat. This next heat, Nathan Cumberland, Jeff Larkin. Now a guy, Nathan Cumberland, size 260 pounds, not exactly his event.
No, and actually same as Jeff Larkin. These are both big farm boys. They actually are not overly nimble on the feet. They like to just get this event done and actually get back with all their parts in one place. So,
well, Jeff Larkin made a switch from his right hand to his left hand with the chainsaw on his way up the pole there. Nathan Cumberland gingerly makes his way up to the pole. Jeff Larkin on his way down.
And Jeff Larkin turning it on. He knows he can get under 20 seconds here in this run, and he does with a 19.4 as Nathan takes his good old time. He's a chopper, not a Sawyer.
Saving his energy, putting on a little bit of a show for the crowd as we head into the next heat. This next heat's going to be Mario Burke taking on Nathan's older brother, Ben Cumberland. Once again, the time to beat still is 17-17 set in the first heat. These guys are going to be a little bit quicker than the last two.
Remember when we watched Ben in St. Stephen here a few years ago, almost fell off the log just like he had glue stuck to the bottom of his feet. He loves this event. He's really going to turn it on to race against Mario.
Both guys heading up the log. Mario loses his balance. He's got to go back to the start line. Ben switches his hands, gets ready to pull the cord on the chainsaw, slashes the front side, and both guys are dead even at this point.
Yeah, again, not quite as fast as I expect them to be, but they're going to race down to the end because they know it's on the line here right now to catch Craig Morris.
And 19.40 is a time set by Ben Cumberland. Good enough for second place at this point. It's got to give you a little bit extra inspiration, have all kinds of people cheering for the Cumberlands, whether it's you or your brother. That's a lot of fun, isn't it?
Oh yeah, it's great having people here enjoying it and cheering us on. Helps us compete better.
Now just tell me about the little bit of a delay you had when you mounted the log there. You got on okay, but within about a second and a half, you were about to go off.
I think I grabbed it with my left hand. I normally grab it with my right, so it just kind of took me off balance when I got there.
And coming down, no problems?
No, that log's really wide, so the ones in St. Stephen are really small, so that one's like walking on a boardwalk.
My name's Scott Reed. I'm from Truro, Nova Scotia, and I work at the Dalhousie Agricultural Campus as an instructor.
Hi, my name is Caitlin Carroll. I'm from Truro, Nova Scotia, and I'm a returning student to Dalhousie Agricultural Campus.
Well, this should be a great heat. Good friends and AC grads. Caitlin Carroll taking on Scott Reed. 17 seconds is still a time to beat. Not sure if it's going to go down here.
They're a little bit better than just good friends. They're actually dating. Look at Scotty Reed balancing up this pole. We've seen him take headers off these logs, fall going down, so it's always hilarious to watch Scotty. He's a fierce competitor. He doesn't really like this event, but it's always fun to watch him. Caitlin just went in this year to give him some competition.
And you see Caitlin actually using the top of the bar. Most of the competitors use the bottom of the bar on the chainsaw. Caitlin getting the job done, giving some competition to Scott Reed as she ends the heat. Caitlin, you're going against the big guy here, Scott Reed. Pretty good obstacle pole runner, but what was your strategy against him?
Honestly, I was just hoping to make it to the end of the pole. It's my first time ever doing it, so anyway, and he needed someone to run against, so I figured might as well maybe try to show him up, but it didn't work.
Well, do you have him in the corner of your eye and see how far ahead of he is? He wasn't that far ahead.
I seen him running back down when I was just about finishing, so. But, oh well, maybe next time.
Well, some great races so far. Now we are heading into the 5th and final heat of the obstacle pole box. Still 17-17, the time to beat set by Craig Morris way back in the first heat. And there's a game face for you on Marcel Dupuis.
Yeah, things have all of a sudden gone from funny to serious here. Both men have the potential to win the overall. Both men have the potential to win the obstacle pole box. So they're putting on their game face and they're going to give it all out here in the OP.
Another classic battle. Lambert taking on Dupuis. Both guys dead even at this point. Saws into the wood.
Marcel Dupuis is already off, though he's heading back down the pole at just over 10 seconds. Don Lambert hesitates, but Marcel's coming in really quickly, and he's going to get it done in 15.3 seconds. Don Lambert not too far behind with 18 and change.
You seen the bucket trend a little bit. Most of the winning heats were coming from the other pole. You're on this pole here. I think it's firmer, this pole, isn't it?
Yeah, I thought it was a bigger pole and a better pole, but I might have been just lucky. I don't know what was going on there, but there's nothing wrong with the both poles. Both poles are good.
Yeah, I mean, and you had no problems there? I didn't see any mistakes there.
No, everything went very well. It's just smooth.
Well, the leaderboard is 5 guys under 20 seconds in the obstacle pole. 3 of them are vying for the overall championship. That would be Dupuis, Lambert, and Cumberland.
Closed captioning is brought to you by PartyPoker.net. The game is changing. Qualify your way to the World Poker Tour today at PartyPoker.net.
We are here in Fredericton at the NBX and the 3rd annual Eastern Canadian Lumberjack Championships. We're halfway through the competition. We got a great leaderboard, and we are heading into the Echo Stock Saw Challenge. Now, this first heat, we got Jeff Larkin taking on Scott Reed. Good friends. They battled each other in the Underhand Chop, and here they are in the Stock Saw.
So we got a bit of a rubber match here in the Stock Saw because Scott Reed just edged out Jeff Larkin in the Underhand Chop, and you see Jeff Larkin having a hard time getting things going here. They're running CS 600 Echo chainsaws, and they're cutting about 14 inches around aspen wood.
Getting that start for Jeff Larkin really cost him with Scott Reed now getting into second cut. Now Scott struggles on his second cut in the upcut and is given an opportunity to Jeff to catch up.
And Jeff Larkin is not only caught up, he's ahead of him right now. Jeff Larkin is going to take it home here with a 23.8 seconds.
And a costly error by Scott Reed cost him the victory. I mean, he had a great start with a real quick time to the wood there. First cut good. Just tell me what happened in the upcut.
Well, I thought the block was a little firm, so I tried to go thin to win. First cookie, I was perfect. I was only about a ½ inch thick. Thought I'm golden, and then tried to go thin on my next upcut. Well, I missed it and had to go a little thicker.
Kind of like a risk-reward thing, right? You take a little bit of a risk to go thin, and sometimes you get burned.
Definitely a risk-reward, and yeah, I got burned this time. Oh, well.
Well, in that particular heat, it was student taking out teacher with Jeff Larkin leading the way with 23.84 and the time to beat heading into heat number 2. I'm pretty confident that time will fall sometime in the next 3 heats. This next one, Mario Bork taking on big Matt Galambos from the United States.
And again, another rubber match because we saw both these guys paired up in the Underhand Chop. Mario Bork taking him out there. And Mario Bork is a little bit ahead here right now in the Echo Stock Saw.
And I think he got a little bit ahead by being quickest to the wood. It's one of the keys in the Stock Saw. Mario is in his second cut first. Matt trying to catch him.
And Matt's got a little bit of catch up to do. Miro doing a great job here. He's got pretty much a flawless cut as he hauls in a time of 20.5 seconds, and he's going to lead the way right now in the Stock Saw.
And with only 2 heats left, it's going to take a sub-20 to win. Yeah, I saw the whole lot of focus there. We haven't seen the official time yet, but you got to be pretty happy with that one.
Yeah, it was a pretty smooth cut. I just wanted to be quick to the wood and let the saw do the work. And hopefully it was fast enough to be close to the front. So
I mean, there's a lot to do with feel and sound as well, right?
Yeah, you got to make sure that saw is always in the power band so that it's got the full potential. You don't want to bog it. I got a little heavy on the down cut once, and I let up again, and then just let it do the cut. So it went pretty good. I'm happy.
Thanks, Mario.
Thanks, Bill.
Well, there's a good explanation there by Mario Bork, and paying attention to exactly what the saw is telling you and get a good feel and the sound for what the saw is doing and maximizing its performance. This next match, a bit of a grudge match. It's the Cumberland boys in the Stock Saw.
And again, these guys spend a lot of time in the axe events, and it usually shows where they place in it. They don't spend quite as much time in the sawing events. They've really got to pull it up here a little bit. Nathan Cumberland, though, he's way out ahead here of Benjamin. Ben's going to play a lot of catch-up.
Ben struggled in the first third of his cut here. Nathan was flawless to the wood. He's now in his upcut, and Ben is about a couple of seconds behind him.
Yeah, Nathan doing a great job here. Hasn't made any mistakes so far. He can actually put a little bit more weight on that saw and to get a little bit faster time, but he's going to be happy to get her done, and his time 22.6.
And a big celebration with his adoring fans. Always got to be a lot of fun. A whole lot of people cheering for you there, going against your older brother. Just tell me about that.
Oh, it's great. We train at home together, so to compete against each other at a show, we enjoy it a lot.
Well, let's get down to the heat itself. he got to the wood real quick, but then he stumbled out of the gate there where he had to pull the saw out because he bogged it down. You were pretty flawless. Tell me about your cut.
I was watching the saws earlier, and I noticed a lot of guys are trying to go too fast. The saws are, they're brand new saws, so they're not warmed up very well. So I just took my time getting to the wood, make sure I had good changeover, and just let the saw cut the wood.
Thanks very much.
You're welcome.
Well, it's the guy from Memramcook, New Brunswick, Mario Bourque, with a 20.53, still leading the way as we head into heat number 4 into stock saw. And it's Donald Lambert taking on Marcel Dupuis.
Both guys great saw operators. Marcel Dupuis really coming along a lot in the hot saw. Don Lambert's always a perennial favorite in the hot saw event. Here they are both going head-to-head in the stocks. Oh, Don Lambert just butchering that block, trying to get the saw in the wood. Marcel Dupuis way out in front right now.
Well, you can see Donald at the beginning of the heat, he had a hard time keeping his saw still on this slippery deck here. May have taken a little bit of concentration away from him, and he's trying to catch Marcel, and he might be able to do it.
Man, he's doing a great job here. He's almost caught Marcel Dupuis, but it's Marcel edging out Don Lambert in the stock saw with a 22.8.
Almost a great catch-up performance by Donald. I mean, you almost caught Marcel there at the end, but what happened at the beginning?
Well, I tried to have a thin cut, but I think I didn't push hard on. I just be too gentle on the top, so the chain just skew on the top of the log. So
it just sort of skated off, right? Now, just tell me, after that, you seemed to go pretty smooth.
Yeah, well, I knew that I couldn't push hard, so I knew to let the RPM just goes up as high as possible. So.
Well, what a great competition, the stock saw event here at the New Brunswick exhibition. Top 5 competitors, all within 3 seconds of each other.
And the crown pivotal point focuses on Donald Lambert, usually a favorite in the underhand chop, but the young guns are starting to unseat the guy, and he takes a 5th place finish.
And his pursuit of Marcel Dupuis in the overall championship here at the NBX, that 5th place finish cost him large. He's now 115 points behind Marcel. And look at Nathan Cumberland biting at his heels.
Biting at his heels, he is now the gas guzzler, Lumberjack of the day. Young Nathan Cumberland, 18 years old. He wins the underhand chop with a 19.38.
Lumberjacks is sponsored by Echo, only professional grade with 5-year warranty. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Quick Dam, the new alternative to heavy sandbags. Yamaha, rev your heart.
Yep, good, we good? 1, 2, we good? Give it to me, give it to me, give it to me. We good? We get ready?
We were just up to Campbell River.